So I will explain up front. By minimal spoilers, I will mean just that. So I will try to leave a lot of the plot untouched. Not that it really matters because the plot twists to me were pretty lame. But there you go. So Badlands, was it bad? Well, no, but it did have baddish aspects. So let's get right into it. If you want the no spoiler, like absolutely no spoiler, I have that version. I will put a link for that. But without giving too much away, why are people so torn about this? Well, the essential story isn't bad, but when they, oh man, it's a headache. So basically, Deck, a very small, puny predator, is being tasked to go onto this alien planet, survive, and hunt down a big monster and prove his worth and honor. Okay, so far so good. But then he picks up the android that Elle Fanning plays, Thea, and away we go. So some people are going so far as to call her Jar Jar. For those not in the know, that is that infamous prequel character from the Star Wars universe, which and listen, I saw Phantom Menace in theaters. So yeah, Jar Jar was freaking annoying. He was annoying then, he's still annoying now. So my basic journey with the Phantom Menace was it was okay, but now I think it's one of the best films of all time. No irony, I actually think it's really really good. But the Jar Jar sections are still pretty rough. They are really really brutal, really brutal. So this whole revisionism that a lot of the hatred of the prequels was made up or phony or people really secretly love them. No, no, no. They were hated for a lot of good reasons, but also bad reasons. Now Jar Jar does fit the plot, and I'd have to say being brutal about it, good or bad, Jar Jar is essential to Phantom Menace. Good or bad, the way he's written and performed, you have to kind of have him in the film. You could edit him a lot out, but beyond a certain point, you can't get rid of him. Here, Thea, because she is critical to a lot of the plot, you can't totally get rid of her, but it's like Jar Jar, like just stop with the lame jokes. Like really, just after a while, it's like stop, shut up. Like there's no reason for you to say this. No reason. It doesn't add anything. It is just the director. I guess. Listen, I like Elle Fanning. I don't hate her, but and the acting is good. But really, after a while, you're like, just stop, just stop. But again, this is the director's vision. I just think he made some bad choices, and they really pulled down the score. Because if you think Elle Fanning is way too much, you're like, uh huh, or woke feminist, whatever. Okay, there is that, but that is not the main problem. Now we're going to get to the main problem because okay, fine. Deck has the android. The android's going to help him. I get that. But then they pick up another creature called Bud, and that was surprising. So, like, I guessworked most of the plot. Like, I'd say three-fourths of the plot. I knew where they were going to go, even with Bud. But then they go in some pretty weird, I'd have to say moronic directions, and I'm like, okay. So there we go. Now I will say they do salvage things here and there. For instance, Elle Fanning helps the Predator in one scene. I'm not going to give away too much, but he helps against some creatures. She picks up a gun, helps him out, and then she's like, "Hey, can you help get me up?" Because she's lost her legs, and Deck does not help. He's like, "Whatever," and calls her a tool. So Predator, for the most part, is in character, but some of the very negative critical reviews that he's not acting like the Predator in certain scenes is correct. He's acting way too nice, way too sensitive. He's talking way too much. Is the Predator culture just talkative? From the other films, not really. And picked up a very talky culture later in their species. I don't know. And that's just a general problem with this film. It is way too much dialogue. It is way too talky. And the action scenes are mostly well done. The CGI is wonky only here or there. So the CGI is above average. It does flow fairly nicely. And again, the Predator does mainly his thing, right? Plays with the bow and arrow, with the swords, and all that, and has some interesting, unexpected complications. Although, again, just thinking thinking it through, you're like, wait a minute. If that's true, this creature and that creature is basically invincible. There's no way you could defeat. Don't worry, they have a way to get around that. But still, you're like, really, really. So yeah, there's certain not just plot holes, but just certain contrivances. I was like, all right, I guess. But you have to wonder, this is a massive planet, but Deck is just lucky. He's lucky he found the android, and he's lucky that he found Bud. And there we go. And then, of course, we can't just stop there with the insanity and stupidity, so we have to bring in the alien universe. And good or bad, the alien universe has been canonical with the Predator universe for some time, so they're not like breaking the rules. But really, it's not really adding anything to the story. They're just adding needless action scenes, which we've seen before. In fact, I was like, a lot of the Predator fans are getting very angry, but it's interesting. The Alien fans have not really weighed in. There are certain sections you're like, oh right, this is this is ripping off from Aliens. Okay, alrighty then. So I guess on the scale of insanity, like Alien Romulus did even more stupid things. I'll have to be honest there. However, that was a better film, and good or bad, it fit the Alien universe. Perhaps a little bit too much. They went a little bit too far with that thing. However, there were aspects that were really strong, especially cinematography, the colors and the lighting. This one, like quality wise, is a huge drop off from Prey. It is like night and day. It's sort of like an excellent film versus, above average. It's not bad, but still, it's like, what happened? I don't know. So, yeah, I can't say this is a terrible, stupid film. And there's been so many bad films, like really, like super bad films, like Weapons really was annoyingly bad and stupid. I can't say this is in that category, but there was just way too many stupid, silly tangents, and you're like, why? I don't know. Like better editing, better stunt work, and things like that. It's just a lot of basics are failing here. However, for the most part, things are good, right? In terms of the acting, the performances, the music, sound design, everything sounds correct. So trying to be honest. But yeah, oof boy. Thea and Bud are really dragging the story sometimes. But they are critical. But I have to say, and this is gonna be a little controversial, you can't get rid of Jar Jar. You can get rid of Jar Jar a little bit, but you can't really get rid of Jar Jar. But here, they could have severely cut a lot of scenes. Right? Again, I like Elle Fanning, but really cutting her would have benefited the film a lot. And not just her, but the other Elle Fanning. So yes, there are two Elle Fannings. The other one was probably even more annoying than the first one. But again, she's critical to the plot, but still, you could edit certain sections. You really could. And some parts were just like lame, where the other Elle Fanning gets into a verbal fight with the Predator. And she's like, hey, Deck. And it's like, oh man, oh man. But on a final note, a lot of the grifters are going like, "Oh my God, the Predator's woke and gay and woke and no, that's not in the film." Apparently, the bozo clowns, because they're bozo clowns, are like, "Oh my God, they put feminism in my Predators," and that's true. Feminism with Predator series is kind of weak, even with Prey. However, good or bad, with the Alien universe, that's not suspicious or alien, no pun intended, to the series. That's been there since the beginning with Ridley Scott, so you just don't know these films. However, that was not the worst problem. Is there some woke feminist aspects? Yeah, but they're actually not that strong. I'd have to say just the quality of filmmaking is much lower than it should be. So Prey was excellent, and ironically, Prey really is kind of a semi-feminist story, but it's very well done. This one Yeah, it's kind of neo-feminist, I guess, if you care about those things. But yeah, the story and the movie, yeah, the filmmaking here is just much poor. I'm gonna give Prey Badlands 7.25. Not the worst film of the year. There are way worse films. However, it could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot better.